Hi everyone, here again, Tyler Rents, Submission Yogi with another Wellness for Jiu Jitsu Recovery Sunday 30-minute class. We do this every week, donation-based yoga online, so you can access it live on Sundays or anytime on your own free time on Wellness for Jiu Jitsu social media platforms. We really appreciate your support, and this is what we love, to increase our health and wellness, feel good, and train hard. So today I have a class for you all about hip flexibility, something that's really important for jiu-jitsu. Getting started here in a foot stretch. If you've done my classes before, you know I love to start out here. So get yourself adjusted so you have weight on top of the balls of your foot. Your toes are spread as wide as possible, and you're giving them some weight so you feel a stretch up and down the plantar fascia connective tissue in your feet. Get comfortable here, and I want to talk about why hip flexibility is important for jiu-jitsu. If you're not already aware, I'm sorry, I'm going to turn and face the camera. You guys can stay that way on your mat, or maybe some of you are on jiu-jitsu mats. No worries. Just stay comfortable here, breathe, check in with your spine, make sure you're sitting nice and straight, and we'll start thinking about the hips and this area and what we need to be able to do in jiu-jitsu, to really what we're looking for in yoga to be able to help our jiu-jitsu. And the thing that always comes to mind is knee to shoulder. That's closing the distance as a guard player and keeping yourself protected and safe. So that knee to shoulder flexibility is a lot of hamstring flexibility actually, but these muscles are all connected in with the hip joint. So we also have internal and external rotation. We're going to explore that shortly. And then the groin muscles, the inside of the leg, things like side splits, front splits, those things. There are things in yoga that we do that translate to jiu-jitsu, putting legs behind hands, legs behind the head. That's a kind of knee to shoulder type stretch type flexibility. So these are things that we do in yoga that directly translate. So if your feet aren't burning already, no worries. Let's move out of this onto our butt. Give your feet a little wider than hip width apart, and we're going to do windshield wipers here to work on active range of motion. So the two ways that we work on our hips are active and passive stretching. Let's start bringing our knees off to one side. Check your alignment. Your knee should land on your ankle, and go slow and controlled side to side. This is an active form of hip, really mobility work when we're being active. It's the passive stretches that we do in recovery yoga that are really the money makers, the gains in flexibility, allowing our nervous system to relax and the connective tissues to stretch and gain our flexibility, gain that range of motion. But we do need to mix in mobility work sometimes before we do the stretches to get things moving a little bit, and also just to maintain that range of motion, create a little bit of musculature. We can even add weights and things to deeper ranges of motion to help maintain those things. We're going to change up our windshield wiper here and add a external rotation to our hip. So we're feeling internal when our knees, the knee that's turning in, and now external, our heel is coming towards us and our knee goes out. So lift your hips up, give yourself a good base on your hands, lift your hips up and put your ankle on top of your leg, and then sink your hips back down. You can make this as relaxed as you want, the intensity of the stretch, by walking your hands back or forward or adjusting the foot. Find something that feels nice, and then rock side to side. So windshield wipers with the figure four here. The foot is coming down to the ground, and the knee comes down on the other side. So we're twisting the spine and feeling that hip mobility and movement. And after this, we're going to settle into some stillness and allow the hip to stretch and maybe explore some new range of motion. When we're being active, we can think about engaging different muscles. There's muscles that compress the knee away from you. In yoga, we really engage the base of the core, so kind of squeezing that muscle that we hold when we go to the bathroom, and the lower abdominals, squeezing those, maybe just subtly, and then kind of moving from that muscle tone. That can allow things to open up and relax. All right, next time we're up to the top, let's stop. Adjust that position, maybe go a little bit deeper. If it's burning, that's okay. Back off a little bit. Tingles are fine. We're just avoiding pinching, intense sensation. But let's get that hip joint nice and juicy and take some big, deep breaths here. Check in with your posture, trying to use the minimum necessary force to hold this position. Every exhale, a chance to relax any places of sensation, listening to your body. That's what yoga is all about. Relax your face, relax your shoulders, relax your foot. Shut off as many muscles as you can, and let that outside of your right hip become more supple. All right, easing yourself out of this stretch, sliding your butt back, straightening your front leg, foot back to the mat, come back into your good alignment for your windshield wipers. Do a couple nice slow windshield wipers. And then we'll check in with that left hip. So plant the right foot on the mat, lift your hips, and bring that bring your ankle to the top of your thigh, and sit your hips back down. Adjust everything. Try to make yourself straight. Both of your sit bones, your butt is on the ground. Your chest is leading. You're not hunching, rounding too far forward. And you feel a nice bit of sensation in the outside of your left hip. Take a breath, and then let the knee fall to the mat on the left side, and the foot to the mat on the right side. Play around with the engagement of your glutes. You can even do this with your butt lifted the whole time. Strengthening in this active form of hip mobility, flexibility work. Don't forget to breathe. Finish that up. Come back to center. Adjust until you find a nice stretch. Let that knee ease away from you. Should be intense enough to keep your focus. If your focus isn't in your leg, in your body, bring it into your breath. Take some big, deep breaths. You can breathe deep enough to change the chemistry in your body. Something nice to do is we hold these stretches a little bit longer. And we're going to keep this position. Just scoot yourself to the front of your mat so you have enough space to roll backwards Grab the back of your right thigh with both hands, and then slow and controlled rock onto your back and use your leg for momentum to roll a couple times. See if you can hold this position as you roll out your spine. Remember, these are just suggestions. Do what feels good to you. Listen to your body. Everyone's on their own journey for these things, but you'll never know if you don't give it a try. And after you're done having fun, relax on your back. Let's keep that ankle on the thigh. Continue to stretch this outer hip with the same position, but on our backs. So recline figure 4. We can grab behind the thigh or reach around the shin and let our arms relax. The interlace of the finger catches the weight of the arms, and see how the sensation is in your hip. Take some deep breaths. Try to be still, but make micro adjustments that make you slightly more comfortable until you can be still. Let that go. Bring both of your knees towards your chest. Move your hips a little bit. Open your knees. Bring them together. Walk it out a little bit. And then right ankle to left thigh. Stretch the right hip. Recline figure 4. Nice flat back. Heavy on the mat. Breathe. Relax. No stress. Bring your awareness back into your body, back into your breath. See if you can feel the tissues letting go where they are tense. One more big deep breath. Kick both of your legs up to the ceiling, straighten them, bend them. Just get a little blood flow, moving your legs slow after that deep stretch. And then both of your feet go to the mat pretty close to your butt. We're in a bridge position. Maybe your fingertips touch your heels. And lift, tailbone first, lifting your hips. Squeeze with your glutes, relax your glutes, lift with your legs. Play around with the different sensations in this area. Go back down and back up. Big breaths, slow breaths, big movements, slow movements. Link that stuff. That's it. Let's rock ourselves back up to a seated position. So grab the back of your thighs, chin to chest, roll up to seated. Going into the one-legged seated forward bend. So right leg comes to the inside of your left thigh. Left leg goes straight. We're doing another passive stretch here. Just holding this position, leaning over your front leg, letting the right hip open. So we've got external rotation as well as a stretch throughout the back, the hamstring of the left leg. Find something that feels good. Avoid the pinching in your low back, especially. Try to even that stretch out all the way through your leg, kind of targeted on the right quadratus lumborum, that right lower back area, but nothing too intense, so that we can spend some time here. Breathe into the belly. A few more breaths. Take it a little deeper if you want, or back off. Listen to your body. Give it the space it needs to stretch and let go without stress or tension in the muscles. Last couple of breaths. Come back up. Take a breath. Move into a cobbler's pose. Feet together in front of you. Just for a second. Rock side to side. A little bit of movement as we switch sides. Right leg straight. Left foot right inner thigh. Turn a bit to face your knee. Sit up straight. Pull your toes back just a little bit. Find some engagement. Feel solid here. And then hinge from your hips. Lead with your chest. Head is the last thing to come down. And that should bring you into a nice even stretch. And we're going to hang out here a solid 10, 15 deep breaths. Enjoy it. Last couple of breaths. Slowly coming back up to a seated. And then move your feet back into that windshield wipe position. Wider than hips. Hands supporting you. Knees fall from side to side. Nice and slow. How do those hips feel? A little bit different. Let's put a little bit of weight into these feet. So if you can press up into a squat from here, this is a little bit difficult. Straighten one leg, do your technical stand up, bring your foot back or to a knee. and work your way into a squat. Hope that wasn't too complicated. Just go into a squat and let gravity bring your knees close to your shoulders. Trying to keep your back as straight as possible, leaning side to side, moving around here in this position. Really good for hip mobility. Maybe walk to the front and back of your mat. If your heels are not on the mat, that's okay. You can be up on your toes. But see how it feels to start leaning back into your heels, sinking your hips low as possible. A lot of compression in the knee, but this is the place to be. Spend time here moving, or we can just chill. Hands to the mat, fall to your butt, do a couple windshield wipers, and then we're going to move into a seated wide-legged forward fold type stretch. But for a lot of us, just sitting up straight here with the legs nice and wide lets the hips inside the groin muscles stretch out, and the connective tissues in those areas can relax when we spend some time here and try to get those muscles to relax too. So get somewhat comfortable in most of your body, but find some space, some feelings of sensation, those inner groin, wherever you're at. Maybe you're back here, no worries. Explore the edge of sensation, and the time spent there is what develops the range of motion and flexibility. I teach you how to do it. You can do it anytime. Listen to music, podcast, TV, whatever you got to do. Breath work is my favorite to maximize this kind of stretching. Check in with your posture, not rounding too much to feel a pull in the lower back. Straight enough spine. Maybe the head hangs. The toes aren't collapsing forward too much. They're kind of drawing in line with the knees and pulling back slightly to get that engagement, and then everything relax with the alignment. Big deep breaths. Leaning forward, slowly sit up. Balance yourself so you can grab the inside of your thighs. Lift your thighs so your heels slide towards each other and bring them to touch into cobblers, butterfly pose. Find the angle where you feel some opening in your hips. Maybe it's a bigger angle, more of a diamond shape, or maybe your heels are really close to your butt. Your knees are dropping down. You can press them down, lean a little bit of weight into them. Find whatever stretch feels good for you. Again, the idea being not stressing the body, letting the nervous system relax. So if it becomes painful at all, that's counterproductive. We really want to feel good here, but good with sensation, and massage it with big deep breaths and time. Get rid of the stress in your hands, your face, your neck, your shoulders. And once that stress relaxes, those muscles are fully relaxed, start to bring the relaxation into the more deeper areas that are being stretched. Jiu Jitsu people tend to be a little bit more intense type of people, so we can come at these stretches a little too intense sometimes. It's not to say that intensity isn't good. We love that intensity, but you got to be able to relax with that intensity. So narrowing down the intensity comes from making it disappear and then gradually finding that edge. You're talking to your body through these movements with your breath and the sensations, learning where your body is comfortable and encouraging it to explore some new territory. Over time, it'll change. You'll have more flexibility. Your knees will be closer to your shoulders. Your guard retention will be better, and you'll feel good getting put into different positions or putting other people into different positions. So spend time in these stretches, enjoy them, and that's it for me. So give yourself a moment, moving slow, keep breathing, and say thanks to yourself for giving yourself that time. And we'll see you again next Sunday, Submission Yogi, Wellness for Jiu Jitsu Recovery Sunday. Goose, guys.